we've been telling you about little Sarah's desperate fight for a lung transplant and her family's plea to change the rules so that their little girl has a chance at life.
Imagine you're 10 years old lying on a hospital bed. You're just a few days away from dying. And the only thing that's standing in between life and death for you is a life-saving lung transplant. But the federal law has prohibited all children under the age of 12 to be enlisted on their adult transplant list. But your parents refused to take this rule book and decided to file a federal court lawsuit against this rule and has changed millions of children's life forever.
Good news now for that little girl in Philadelphia who needed a lung transplant to survive. Her parents' plea to get her on the transplant list was debated in Congress, ended up in federal court, and today she has a new lease on life. ABC's David Wright has the story.
Now you're 23 years old, studying in a college in Florida, pursuing the degree of psychology and therapist. This is the reality for Sarah Murnaghan, which is my guest today. Welcome to another episode of my Dear Diary Face Journey with my scenographists. Today we're going to be talking about our healthcare system battles with our chronic illnesses, and I would love to introduce you to our special guest, Sarah Murnaghan. Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
Would you like to introduce yourself to my viewers and everyone?
I'm Sarah, and I am here on the podcast to speak about my experiences with chronic illness and, just chronic illness in general.
Right. Thank you so much. Could you tell me what you're currently studying, what you're going through? University.
Yes. So, I go to Florida Tech, in Florida, and I'm studying clinical psychology. I'm a junior right now in clinical psychology.
That's great. We're all a college student here. I'm so glad we're able to have this conversation about medical and faith advocacy, which is really important. So I want to also introduce myself to my viewers. I'm Yuna. I'm a singer-songwriter, chronic illness advocate, and here we have our really special guest today with me, Sarah Murnaghan. Is that right? Sarah Murnaghan?
Yes, Murnaghan.
Murnaghan. Okay. The G is silent.
Yes, the G silent.
Okay, cool. Thank you for coming into my podcast. We got connected through our last guest, which is Daniel, and he connected us together to share about our similar experiences with chronic illness. And I want to thank you for coming in to do this with me. Yay!
Thank you.
Okay, I want to start with just the most important thing, the medical journey. That's the biggest thing. You were making headlines when you were 10 years old in the hospital. Yeah.
Yes. That was a really complicated story. So, I was born with something called cystic fibrosis, which is a genetic condition where basically you have much thicker mucus, and it causes the lungs to get worse over time, and you need a lot of treatments for it. My parents actually did not know that they were carriers of this gene when they had me, and I somehow passed the newborn screening. And obviously, I ended up having all of these symptoms, and my mom was like, "Something's wrong with this child." She kept bringing me to a bunch of different doctors. They kept saying, "Oh, it must be allergies. She's allergic to this. She's allergic to that." And my mom would stop eating those things before breastfeeding me, and she would be like, "Okay, well, it hasn't changed. The problem hasn't changed."
So what were the symptoms you were experiencing?
Cystic fibrosis also messes with the digestive tract, so I was not digesting things properly. So basically, I would use the bathroom every 2 hours and not gain weight at all because I was not digesting food. And when I was like one, I was still in like size like 3 months or 4 months clothes. And my parents would always get comments like, wow, you're like so lucky that your baby's like really tiny and like cute. And
That's not, I don't know if that's a nice, if it's a compliment or not.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, my mom would always dress me in really cute clothing. So it's
Yeah.
probably why.
So then how did that like, when you're 10, how did that like kind of, your symptoms and everything kind of crumble down and,
So I finally got diagnosed when I was like 1.5 because my mom had actually been watching the medical channel on TV like excessively.
wow.
And one night they randomly did a special on cystic fibrosis. And my mom saw it and she was like, oh my God, Sarah has every single symptom that I listed here. And so she and my dad basically got a genetic test just where they just draw blood and they test if the gene's there. And they both had the gene. And then my mom demanded I get a sweat test because people with cystic fibrosis, a lot of salt comes out in their sweat. So they did the sweat test and a genetic test on me, and it was confirmed I have it. Um, for me personally, my condition started to really take a turn for the worst when I was like 8. I started having a lot of trouble with breathing. I kept being hospitalized the whole time for different things. And this one doctor, um, like an infectious disease person, uh, met with me and my mom. And the doctor was actually said in front of my face when I was 8 years old, yeah, like she's probably not going to make it because it's not looking good.
Hmm.
And I was like, um, damn, I don't think I want to go back to this guy again, Mom.
I had a similar experience when I came to the ER emergency room in high school. The doctors were like, "Yeah, you kind of just have to live like this and there's nothing we can do about it." And then I had my chest like a thymus surgery, but my symptoms weren't going away and I was like my muscles like I was having paralysis throughout my body and none of the treatments were working. I went to the hospital to meet my surgeon. They said that it's my fault. Like I was crying and all that because I talked to my neurologist and she said that maybe it's the surgery. So I got the CT scan to check if there's like residual like tissues and there were like ambiguous tissues there. So I met my surgeon and I was crying. I was in tears about like how nothing's working. I'm stressing out. But all I got was, it's kind of your problem.
Yeah, that gives the same vibe as like whenever, because people with cystic fibrosis get dehydrated a lot easier. And like, especially when we're in like heat, because like we sweat out like all of our salt excessively. And growing up, I've definitely had people tell me like when I start experiencing like the dehydrated symptoms, like headaches and like fatigue, I've had people say, well, did you try like drinking water?
Oh
Like
my.
I tried.
You try to explain it. Yeah. I think this is so true with like chronic illness because for me, my parents and people, like even I didn't understand what my body was going through at that time. And you would think, oh, if you just try harder, try harder. But my symptoms are actually like my muscles gets more fatigued the more I try. So like, so it's like basically one of the symptoms that happen is basically when you like do something repetitively like muscle movements, your muscle gets like fatigued out and like it actually makes it worse. But I think like it's hard to like explain to people that is not aware of these kind of chronic like rare diseases and like chronic illnesses. So So that's why I feel like this podcast is like really necessary for people like us to have that compassion and give like, you know, just to have that awareness for people to understand what other people are going through.
Yeah, like even like around my own things, like I see a lot of misinformation. Like I'll see a random post online that's like, if you get like an organ transplant, like that'll only add like 5 more years to your lifespan. And I'm always like, that is really weird because I'm 13 years post organ transplant.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know where people are even getting some of this misinformation from, but there's a lot of it out there.
But it's crazy that your mom was able to figure out your diagnosis, like from watching TV. Like, even, I feel like it's a double-edged sword with online media, you know?
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely.
Okay,
Because I feel like that there's two sides of it. I feel like the first side of it is that some media will show things that are like accurate, but they'll only show like the most extreme form of the disorder and only show the most extreme symptoms. And the other side of it is that they won't show anything accurate and they'll only show misinformative slop.
Yeah,
So it's definitely a double-edged sword.
for sure. So, how did things escalated for you when you were 10 years old and you need a like lung transplant? How did that like happen?
Um, so I was put on the transplant list, and the way that the transplant list works is that basically everybody has a score from like 1 to 100. Basically, the people that are really, really close to 100 are like at the end of their life, and the people that are like 1 are like barely on the list, right?
Right. Yeah.
So for children, there's obviously a children's list, and there's also an adult list. The thing is, with many organs like lungs and kidneys, with current technology, they can be like resized to fit you. So children can receive organs from an adult donor and it will work out perfectly fine.
Right.
But because they didn't have that technology in the past, like 25 years ago, uh, there was this rule in place for kids under 12. It said if you're under 12, in order to receive an adult organ, basically everybody else who was in front of you on the transplant list has to turn it down first. Like every single adult, even the people that weren't in front of you. The
Life.
problem, yeah, the problem with that is there's not like children donors like readily available, because for anything other than kidney, like you have to like pass away to be a donor.
Yeah.
So there's not like children donors, which is good, obviously. But that meant that a lot of kids would like pass away waiting for organs because they couldn't get them, because nobody in their right mind would turn down a life-saving organ if it was a match and they needed it. So when my mom found this out, she was basically like, well, that's like, not fair, obviously. And so my mom had she had been in like the news business before, and she was like a journalist. That was like her career.
Oh, wow.
And so she knew how to make a fuss about things in the right way to get them on the news and to get people to care about it. So that's essentially what she did. And fun fact, I was actually not aware that she was doing all of this. I was aware.
Yeah, you were 10 years old.
Right. I was aware that, she was trying her best to do whatever could be done.
They say that they can't measure how sick a child is. Well, you know what? Come to my hospital room and you will see how sick Sarah is. She is dying. She is dying.
I approved of all that. But I remember after like 6 months after my transplants, because I had two transplants, and I'll get to that story in a second. But I remember I was on the ambulance on my way home because I was still on medical equipment. So I was in the ambulance, and we were like 15 minutes from my house. And my mom was like, "So I kind of need to tell you something." And I was like, "Okay, what is it?" And she's like, "Well, there's probably going to be a lot of strangers outside of our house when we arrive." And I'm like, "Why would there be a lot of strangers outside of our house?" And she's like, "Well, so you're actually kind of famous." And
Celebrity.
we get to the house, and there's like a truck from like almost every major news person out there, like Fox, NBC,
Oh
like
wow.
people trying to like shove cameras in my face as I'm being like wheeled into the house. And I was just like, okay, like I thought she was exaggerating when she said that, but apparently not.
Your mom is so brave. I like this just like hearing how your mom fought for you and just from the beginning to the end. It reminds me of my mom too. Because my mom, we're immigrants, like from Taiwan. So she take me to most of my treatments, hospital visits. So she was there for me from the very beginning. And, I feel like having that support from your mom is such a lovely thing. And the way that she like didn't even tell you, because I mean you were 10 years old, so I'm pretty sure she just wanted you to focus on recovering, but like it's still amazing that she actually went to like file the court and then like get people to care about these issues because I think it's so important. But do you think like the publicity is like, now if you think back on it, do you think it like helped you like motivate you, or did it like, if you were to go back, would you want to not have a lot of publicity about it?
I mean, a little bit of both, honestly. So I'd had other medical incidents, like other than the transplant, which was obviously the biggest thing. Like I've gone through like lymphoma, for example. Um, and because some people from like these like news stations are still to this day try and get information on me, like we like had to like lock that down,
Yeah.
right? Like information about these other incidents. I had an incident where I got this virus that sent me into a coma for 14 days straight. And like we like locked that information down because it's like we don't need all these people
Strangers.
trying to come, yeah, trying to come and get information like while I'm like still trying to recover.
Right, yeah.
Like it's fine if they know it now. So anyone who watches this podcast, it's fine if they know it now. But like while I'm currently recovering, it's like we don't like post anything about it
Right.
aside from like me telling my really close friends in private.
Right. I think that's one of the biggest thing because, I'm a singer-songwriter, but I also have chronic illness. I want to do this advocacy. It is really vulnerable to put your, like, because medical things is supposed to be private, It's like you want the support from people, but at the same time, when I was starting to do this advocacy and really put my story out there, I was really scared because I don't want people to take advantage of my stories. And, it's really hard to express yourself. And even, especially when they're trying to twist your words into something else for their benefit. Like, that's the, yeah. Yeah. So, have you had, so dealing with the publicity, like have you had any like news media or people that try to like twist or like make your story like in a bad way, like to get profit or something?
I mean, I've definitely had people do that to my mom. Back when the story was like really major. Um, so a lot of my story, since it became a government thing, involved politicians. And there were definitely people since the Obama administration is the administration that was in time during my whole thing, and the court case was against the Health and Human Services person, there were definitely, I'd say, some people that, were on like the Republican side of things, like kind of LARPing and being like, see, look at this. This is proof that that all Democrats are evil or whatever.
Yeah, they turn it
kind
into
of
like
thing.
a fight. Yeah.
That you see in politics all the time.
Right. So you were 10 years old, but now you're more aware of what had happened. Can you just like walk me through how your mom started with from your perspective, how she like did the process of that?
So originally she had some media connections because of her journalism thing, and so she started reaching out to those people. I think a lot of what she did was she took photos and videos of me doing like innocent things, but that clearly showed how fragile I was. When I was in the hospital, I used to play with the xylophone.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the things that went viral was a video of me playing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star on the xylophone. And it just showcased how severe everything was, but also that I was just a normal person as well. And things like that kind of went viral. Because it showcased kind of just that I was a normal person.
And you're a kid that's struggling, so
yeah. And I think that just made a lot of people feel really upset about the whole situation, and that pushed the story further. And then politicians who were good people or just wanted to look like good people all started immediately kind of jumping in on the whole thing. And then, the court case happened. And luckily for us, the Health and Human Services person turned out to have some opinions that were kind of evil. Well, she said some things that made her seem kind of evil. So it was easy for us to spin things so that it had to be changed immediately.
Wow.
So basically what happened was they didn't just immediately change the law. What they did was for a year, they put a temporary law in place for a year, a trial run to see if things would work out good. And then a year after my transplants is when they permanently changed the law, because other kids were getting transplants too that had been waiting on lists. So it was going good for everyone, so they changed it permanently a year later.
Because other kids also benefit from the court case being changed, so the kids are able to get the transplant list. Yeah.
A lot of other kids benefited from it. I mean, and when I say a lot, because kids needing organ transplants, anyone needing organ transplants really is a pretty rare thing. But the kids that did need organ transplants, the organ transplant committee still, I think, tries to keep tabs on me, because a few years back, when I had a doctor who's not currently my doctor anymore, because unfortunately they switched hospitals and went to another hospital. But they mysteriously promoted her to being on the Organ Transplant Council after word kind of got out that I'd switched to that hospital.
Interesting.
So it was So I think those people are afraid of me ever potentially needing another transplant because I don't know, they're afraid of my mom at this point.
Well, I think in a good way, your mom is there to fight for you, and that's always something to be grateful of. And um,
Yeah.
a big thing is like faith for us, as believers.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, definitely.
God says that He will be there in times of need. All weary, come to Him, and He will give you the peace and comfort. How
Yes.
I want to ask about your relationship with God, like how that impacted your life and how it started.
So, I was technically baptized Catholic Christian when I was like little. But like my family was never like hardcore like Catholic Christians. Like we celebrated Christmas, we celebrated Easter, but
Right.
like and we went to church on Christmas and Easter, but like other than that, we were not like firm, super firm. I would say my personal relationship with God kind of started before my trauma because I had a little cousin. Um, his name was Jack, and he passed away from cancer when he was 4, and I was 6. And we were a lot like siblings. And so that was kind of my first experience with like
Death.
death and like spirituality and that
Mhm.
kind of stuff. I was really confused by the concept of it at that age. Like, my parents would be like, "Oh, like, like Jack's in heaven now, or like everything's great," and I'd be like, "Well, I can't see him there, so I'm not like 100%
Yeah.
sure if I can believe in that." Um, when I was going through my whole thing at 10, um, I'm sure you've heard before, sometimes people who are having near death experiences report seeing deceased people.
Right. Yeah.
And that is what happened with me. I saw my cousin Jack, and I told him basically that, oh, I wasn't feeling so confident, like that I was going to make it. Um, and so like if I'm gonna join him in heaven, like I wanted to have like a big bedroom with like a lot of stuffed animals.
Oh.
And he was like, and he said that that wasn't gonna happen because God had a plan for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And all of that stuff was just kind of like confirmed. And I've been like a bit spiritual ever since. And then my relationship with God got even stronger when I was 19, when I had the 14-day coma incident. Um, because when I was having the 14-day coma incident, I saw an angel. And the angel said that he was like my guardian angel and that everything was going to be like fine. And like I was just going through a rough patch. And every single time that he like said something to me, like it ended up happening or everything ended up being fine. And so I just became like really spiritual after that and really confident in my beliefs.
Yes. I'm so glad that you had such amazing encounters with God. It's especially for kids, like you were so young. We're very vulnerable from Satanists and like the enemy's attack. Like you see kids with cancer, but
Yeah.
it's amazing how your cousin Jack, he was he sent off to heaven, so he's always like he's forever in peace with God. But you have a plan here on earth, and God still gave you that comfort that your cousin Jack is fine, and you're gonna be fine as well. And I think that's amazing. I also have a similar encounter, but basically I was raised Buddhist, kind of culturally Buddhist, and but I was always afraid of death, like because in Buddhism culture, it's either reincarnation or you believe that nothing is gonna happen after death. just like there's just gonna be nothing. And that really scares me. For my family, the most part, like I think they're still in like the search of, spirituality. But for me, I've always been scared of it. And because I have two chronic illness. I have Graves' disease and I have myasthenia gravis. So ever since I was like first grade, my thyroid was really like big and swollen. And so I have to do like, I have to get my blood tests like every month, and like hospital visits, like all that. It's like really common thing for me to deal with at that time. But I was always like I felt really different. And I think now I understand, because God chose, like we're the chosen children of God, right? So we go through things that are really hard, and we go through those struggles. But basically further along the line, I was struggling, and I really was so upset about God, because I feel like I was struggling so much and I don't think I deserved it. I was like cursing him. I hated all kind of like Christianity. Like I hated the talk about God, because I'm just like, it's not real. But the most craziest thing happened when he actually like came to me. Like he was this light, and he came to me, he encountered me and told me to not be afraid. And he also, like, when I had my surgery and post-surgery, I was on my bed, sitting on my bed. I couldn't like lay flat on my bed. He like gave me like the warmest hug ever. He also sent like a duck during my treatment. Like I had this like 2-hour long infusion sessions, and there was just this random duck like just sitting beside me. Like I was in this clinic, and at the window side, the duck was just sitting right there next to me for 2 hours long straight. And I know that, God is omnipresent. He will give you like comfort and peace through like people and things. And there's so many things I'm like grateful of. And now I'm a believer. I can see things more clearly, like how, God is in control of everything. And I think that also puts my mind at the ease, with all the hardships going through. So we were talking about faith, and I shared a little bit about my journey with how I came to believe in God. And one of the other things is that I'm a really creative person, and you're also a really creative person. So is there anything like art that has helped you like heal, like feel like cope with this disease?
I've been really into cosplay and like creating costumes and like costume parts based off of characters. That's really helped me a lot, because I feel like that I can put myself in the mind of this character temporarily, and kind of like see things through like another lens. And I can also just like sit down and create these things, and it's not very, like, I don't have to like overexert myself,
Right.
To create these props, and it's just like a really relaxing hobby, and it's creative, and I really like that.
Yeah, I love creating art too. Like if you can see like my background, I have a lot of paintings that I do. Yeah, and the other thing is I really love writing music and singing. I think the church that I go through really just makes me really happy to sing praising about God and everything. And I know we kind of going back for because like you shared about your healthcare system battles with your mom. Is there anything like current ongoing healthcare issues that you're struggling with right now?
I mean, I just think that the healthcare system in general right now is not, especially in America, is not really benefiting a whole lot of people.
Yes.
Because people are like afraid to seek healthcare because they're afraid that the costs are going to be too expensive and it's going to put them into debt. Like I've heard stories of people taking Ubers to the hospital instead of an ambulance.
Oh.
Because, like, they're afraid of how much the ambulance is going to cost. And it's like, first of all, everyone's already paying for, like, health insurance. Like, if you're paying for the health insurance already, then why is it still so much?
Right, yeah.
I think there just needs to be, like, more services for especially people who have chronic illnesses or older people who, like, are more susceptible to developing a chronic illness, and
yeah.
like, less about, just making a ton of money and more about helping humanity.
Right. I think that there's something going with the pharmaceutical company side, like the Optum RX and, like, United Healthcare insurance companies, or, like, they rig the prices of the medical side, like the manufacturing side, and then they delay the treatments to patients because they want to rig the prices. And there's been so much, like, political, not just political, like the actual murder attempts that happened, that, about the United Healthcare that was being shot, the guy that shot him.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't believe in, like, unaliving anyone for any reason. I think that's wrong.
Right.
But I can see the mentality of how much pain that person must have been in to where they feel like
It's
something so horrible is the only choice.
right.
And I feel like, unfortunately, a lot of Americans who have chronic health problems, like even common chronic health problems like diabetes, like, I have diabetes as well from my cystic fibrosis, and the insulin prices are, like, insane sometimes.
Yes. Really.
Like, it's crazy. It's like, I'm at the point where, like, I really need to lock in on college, because once I'm kicked off my parents' insurance, like, I need to be, like, ready to have a job all, like, lined up and ready to go because of how crazy this healthcare system is.
Yeah. And also with, like, different insurance plan benefits, it also, like, if you're even if you have insurance, like, if you have a different plan, it also affects on, like, how good of a treatment you'll get,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I think the whole system is really corrupt in the sense that the people in poverty,
I think it's crazy.
Yeah.
And, like, some insurances will, like, try and, like, not cover certain things. And I've heard of, like, hospitals also charging, like, crazy prices for things that, like, don't cost that much.
Yeah.
Like, recently I heard of a hospital that tried to charge someone $4,000 for a Tylenol.
For a Tylenol? $4,000 for a Tylenol?
Are we serious? Like, you can go buy a whole bottle of Tylenols at, like, CVS for, like, $10.
$4,000 is like how many months of rent? Like 5 months of rent?
Yeah, that's like a lot of somebody's rent, or like
food,
like,
and
no
everything.
wonder people don't want to go to the hospital when they're having genuine emergencies if y'all are going to try and charge $4,000 for Tylenol.
Yeah.
Like, that's ridiculous.
And I know because we're college students. We're the Gen Z, the Generation Z. And we are really struggling. We are in this really hard time economically, with everything going on, especially because we're, like, chronic illness, like, we're in the minorities. It's really hard to find a voice and people to support you through this. That's why I feel like it's so necessary. But I don't think you should, like, I agree with you. I don't think you should just kill someone like Charlie Kirk and, like, the people, like, work in the insurance company. Like, even if you kill all these people, the system's not gonna change, right? Like, you can talk about hating all these political leaders. You can talk about, I hate this person. But the truth is, we all need God. And it's already shown through the system and our current state living here this is not going to change anytime soon, you know?
Yeah.
And I think this is why I also want to stress on believing in putting your trust in God instead of putting your trust in like leaders or putting so much trust in people in power, because a lot of times people, like, human are greedy. Like that's just us. Like, we're born sinners.
Yeah.
And the truth is that we cannot be putting so much trust on these people. We can only put our trust in God. And like,
Yeah.
especially now, because we go through the struggles, we know about the sinful nature with the healthcare system and people in general. It like strengthens our relationship. Like for me, it strengthens my relationship with God, and it helps me feel more compassionate about people that do not have the privilege to have those healthcare benefits. And I was talking about Cole Shemignik that died because he couldn't afford a $500 inhaler. He's also 22.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
an inhaler shouldn't be costing
$500. Yeah.
because it's like, yeah, because it's like we shouldn't be putting people in a situation where it's like, oh, do I choose to be able to breathe today, or do I choose to be able
Yeah.
to eat today?
Right. And especially if you're like
That's insane.
yeah, that's not like humane. And especially if you also have a family, you need like kids to feed, like you have to provide for your family, but you're already like physically and everything's not going well. Like, how are you supposed to provide? And also, I think a lot of times the insurance stress about like survival rate. Like, if you can't survive, they're not gonna give you the treatment because you can't survive. But a lot of times they
Yeah.
don't think about the, what is it called, like your life, what is it called, like your base, it's not the survival, it's like your overall life, what is it, there's a word for it.
Yeah, I also forgot the word.
It's like overall,
Like quality of life?
yes, oh my gosh, thank you. Yeah, your
Yeah,
overall
there.
quality of life. Like, for example, for me, myasthenia gravis affects like muscle fatigueness, right? So, but the thing is, if I can breathe, then technically I'm okay even if I'm paralyzed, you know? Like
Yeah.
yeah, but like the tricky thing about chronic illness is that like you have double vision, like paralysis that happens, flare-ups that happens, and it's really hard to work or just even do basic things in life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's like that for me too. Like, it's just crazy how and like a lot of people that like don't have chronic illnesses don't like understand the extent of it. Like, there have been days where like the only like thing I have enough energy to like do is like lay in bed and scroll on my phone, and then like text friends and stuff like that,
Right.
or like take a nap. And like I feel like that like some people that don't have chronic illnesses are like so quick to be like, oh, you're lazy.
Yeah.
Like,
You're lazy, yeah.
doing all that, when it's like some days like I genuinely just don't like wake up with a whole ton of energy.
Yeah. I think
Even if I
mental
went to
health
bed
is
at a reasonable time.
right. I think
For
mentally,
college students, it's not always feasible either.
yeah. I think it's like also another thing I emphasize a lot is like mental health, because like again, this system and how we're basically on survival, everyone lower middle class knows about this, paycheck to paycheck. You're constantly stressed out. Your body's constantly inflamed. Mentally, you're not doing well. Like, how are we supposed to just work until we're dead, basically? And like, this is something that I don't understand.
Then on top of that, there's all these sorts of people online that are like accuse you of like faking. Like, I saw this post on TikTok the other day that was like, everyone that like used to like wear like a knee brace in high school and like, you know, insinuating that people that wore them were faking their illnesses is now moving on to this EOTS POTS diagnosis. And I'm like, so you guys are just like gonna accuse everyone with that diagnosis of being fakers?
Yeah.
When it's like less than 1% of people would fake like a diagnosis like that, and you guys are just gonna like assume it's everyone. I've seen people like saying people are like faking disorders to get disability benefits. Do you know how hard it is to like even qualify for those benefits? Like, even if you prove that you're disabled,
It's very
like,
hard.
I don't qualify for them because like I live with my parents and my parents like make above the threshold.
Yeah, I don't qualify either. But I feel like because of how unexpected chronic illness can be, it's really difficult to explain to people that aren't medical professionals about what resources or like things I need to feel to be even like in the level of like normal. Like, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing. But you know, we're a college student now. I'm graduating in like a week. So what I'm looking forward is to continue the advocacy and to make more music, to bring in the faith, art, and just healing to people mentally, like who are mentally struggling, or if you have any chronic illness. Like, I always want to encourage people to talk about their stories. I'm also really interested in what you want to get out of college.
So my major also kind of goes back to like everything I've went through. I really want to like be a therapist to people who have gone through difficult struggles similar to what we've gone through, because I feel like that it's one thing to hear it's going to be okay from like anyone. Like, it's great. But like, it's another thing to hear those same words from somebody who's been in the situation that you're in, and it makes you feel more confident, like, oh, everything is actually like not going to be horrible forever.
Yeah, for sure. In the beginning, like for me, myasthenia gravis, it starts really bad, but as long as you get the treatments and like you have the support and you know, your flare-ups and symptoms will slowly calm down, you know, because it's, you know, it's an immune system, so you just need to get your stress level like out of low. Try to manage your stress levels and to just like find support with your community. I think it really helps to definitely find support. And another biggest thing is like find God, you know, find hope in God, and no matter what happens, like He will be there for us, right? But I want to just, you know, I really encourage you, Sarah, to like, you know, God is in control and He will definitely help you to reach your dreams. And you know, you're here because He has a plan for you. That's what He said. And I'm really,
yes, definitely.
right, I'm really glad that God has supported you. And now you're 23 years old? 23?
Yeah, I'm 23 now.
Right. That's, you know, that's miracles happen every day, guys. You know, even though things terrible happens, but God will always be here for us. Which, let's start with a prayer ending, if that's okay. Okay, let's do a prayer ending. So I'm gonna lead the prayer, and if you want to add anything, I'll let you go. Do you want to add anything after me, or just what you want me to say?
I'll add something after.
Okay, cool.
Maybe.
Okay. Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you for Sarah Murnaghan to join this podcast and share about her wonderful testimony with you and just her strength, resilience through this medical history, and her mom being there for her support. Lord, I just thank you so much, and thank you for providing us the strength and courage to share about our stories. And now we're in our 20s, about to go on to our real lives, I pray that you can just continue to provide us the support and courage that are needed to carry on and just be the light and be the ambassador of God and just spread the light to other people that are struggling with mental health, chronic illnesses right now. Lord, I just pray that you can lift up all the anxiety and worries that they have, all the financial struggles and everything that's going on, Lord. Might seems really heavy, but Lord, you're bigger than all of our sins and all of our problems, Lord. And I just pray that you can continue to lead us through this life, Lord, and may you be here with us always.
I just pray that, everyone who's struggling in any kind of way is able to take God's hand and receive his divine protection and light, and that anyone who feels like their life is in a bad place right now is able to put their hope in God and his angels and just be able to heal from that with his help. Amen.
In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you, Sarah. You want to say hi to my phone? We're doing this like Instagram. I had to use Instagram because my Zoom meeting, I don't have the premium version, but I have the screen recording. Thank you so much, Sarah, for coming to this podcast. Oh my gosh, that was so amazing, guys. Yeah, God is real, and I'm really glad that he is real because life, this is something I always think about. It's just like how much of a gift life is and how God is so real and he is here with us. It's not like he's up there and just, that's what I had a misconception about God. But now I know that he is here with us and he is right now with you. And I hope that this prayer will go to everyone that's watching this or listening to this podcast. If you want to join my podcast, please join my podcast. Support my medical journey and also my new music coming out. So yeah, I hope that my unicorns can find God and just find the support needed. And thank you guys for listening to this podcast.